I had like if I just let myself go, at least at the time, I could see myself turning like, oh, I'm gonna start giving away my age. Picard.
Okay.
If you've seen Star
Trek. Yeah, Star Trek. Yeah.
Yeah. So Picard, that sort of monk hair at the back, but either sparse or completely smooth front. When Putin invaded Ukraine, yeah, I was like, oh my god, he's gonna use nukes. We're all going to die. I can't die, man. And that's when I started HRT. And then part of like, well, I'm taking HRT now, might as well try to work on the hair. And in fact, because I was still almost certain that I would never get my hair back, I was already planning on getting laser to laser off the rest of my hair.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the HairStacks podcast. Today, I'm here with a very special guest, and I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves.
Hi, I am Liv. I'm a trans woman, and I don't know what else to say.
I mean, that's, your introduction.
Yes.
But yeah, let's just get into it. Let's talk about, I guess the best point to start is, when did you notice your hair loss? When did that start, and what were your feelings behind it? And and how did you go about, pursuing that particular, treatment stack, your hair loss stack, and how has it changed your life and changed your hair?
Oh man, where do I begin? I feel like I was born a Norwood too. I think like I started noticing that my hairline was different from everyone. The quality of my hair was different from everyone else's in high school. That's when you start worrying about your appearance, etc. And mine was always thinner. My hairline was always a little higher than the others, etc., etc. Which, I mean, it was no surprise because my dad's bald, or at least at the time he was balding. And I kind of already knew that, I'd end up like this guy. I'd end up like my dad. And as as life progressed, I went to college. It got thinner and thinner until the thinning didn't happen as quickly. It was more like I don't know if you or your listeners have watched Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
I got the Vegeta thing going.
Oh, everyone says that, like the Vegeta hairline, like that's like a common thing that people say with the V. Yeah.
Although the shape was more like Iron Man, like the armor itself, not the actor or the.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Shape, yeah. So just the frontotemporal region recessing and then receding, and then at that point I was like, okay, this is too ugly. I'm gonna get a mohawk. So I shaved off the sides of my head. And that was fine for a while. It was pretty cool. And then that's when I noticed it started thinning in the forelock.
Yeah.
And then eventually I was like, okay, I can't deal with this anymore. This is like, I don't know why it feels bad. It just looks bad. So I'll just shave it all off. And I've lived most of my life with a shaven head. No, not most of my life. Like most of my adult life. Yeah. Let's say, yeah. And I don't know, like, should I get into the gender thing, or like, is this?
Yeah, you can. Honestly, this whole thing is about people's experiences with hair loss and like just whatever. Like, it's just I want people to like share their experience. But before we get into that, though, could you give like a time frame on like at what age did you experience, I guess, the first signs of hair loss, when you were like, okay, the hairline is receding and I'm getting kind of patchy or something like that? Like, what age did you experience this, and how rapidly did this occur? Because I think I remember you just saying it occurred in university, if I'm not mistaken, or college?
I first got conscious about it in high school.
Okay.
But things got sort of gradually worse in college, and then it's it just kept getting worse. Both the hairline itself and my own concerns about it. Like I got more and more conscious about it.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that answers my question. Yeah.
Okay.
And now you can move into the next part that you wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah, the gender thing. I won't get into detail. Like I won't give the whole spiel of when I was a young kid. We've all heard that story, and you don't need that story to be valid as a trans woman. Just gotta put that out there. So I was always uncomfortable with that kind of old man look. And the funny thing is, shaving my head hid the hairline such that it eased the dysphoria a bit. Like, it was less manly to be skinhead.
Really? That's a really interesting, because could you unpack that? That's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah. So, I had, like, if I just let myself go, at least at the time, I could see myself turning like, oh, I'm gonna start giving away my age. Picard.
Okay.
If you've seen Star
Trek. Yeah, Star Trek, yeah.
Yeah. So Picard, that sort of monk hair at the back, but either sparse or completely smooth front.
Yeah.
It's got this sort of, I don't know, it's very manly. You only see it in men.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like the whole No.7 kind of look, like the hair around the parietal area. It looks like, how do I say, like grandpa, like a grandpa, very elderly kind of look. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're completely bald, there's a kind of, monk, sort of sexless monk look.
Oh, I understand what you mean now. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, because it kind of obfuscates any sort of, like, I guess it's very neutral. It's a neutral kind of look. Yes, I guess that's where it's going. Yeah.
And it's sort of what was her name? Tilda Swinton in Doctor Strange. See, like
yes.
I mean, I'm sure she didn't shave her head, but like. That sort of, like, seeing that movie actually maybe, that's nice. But at the same, so I was struggling there, but also sort of, there's no way I'm gonna look like a woman. Especially with this kind of hairline, etc. So I might as well try to be a man. And so I worked out really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I was bald. I had let's say a relatively jacked body. So people would call me One Punch Man. Which was funny. I did not mind being called One Punch Man. There was also a kind of sexless neutrality to him.
True, yeah.
So eventually I got my first, like, up until this point, like up until I was 27, I was kind of in denial. Like, I was trying to, like, push away those thoughts to the edge of my mind. So, like, those thoughts of I would never look like a woman, like, let's not unpack that. Because you thinking about that kind of says something, right?
Exactly, yeah. It being, like, in the background. It I've talked to people before. I mean, before we get into, like, your hair loss stack and what you're used to, really make by the way, an amazing recovery. That debunks everything that people say that, if you lose this amount of hair, you can never get it back with, that's bullshit. It was, what you did was, that it worked. It clearly did work. But I think anyone, people have to
on that.
Okay.
But, I'll elaborate on that later.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry for cutting in, but, man, I forgot what I was going to say. Just continue. Sorry about that.
Oh, sure. Just to really quickly move things along, I had a crisis when I was 27. I was working in the States for a while, and being alone with, all my friends are in the Philippines, so everyone's asleep when I'm awake. I have no one to talk to. Oh boy, I was left alone with my thoughts. I could not really hide from it anymore. And I sought a psychiatrist, and he said, "Yep, you're a textbook case. You're trans. I'll write up a prescription." And I'm like, "Whoa, hold on. I'm not even sure."
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of wish I had gone through with it, but me being a skeptic and a generally cautious person when it comes to these types of things, it was inevitable that I would hold things hold things off, put things off. And then I tried being, I continued questioning until I was 33. Was I 33? 33. And then when Putin invaded Ukraine,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, oh my God, he's going to use nukes. We're all going to die. I can't die, man. And that's when I started HRT. And then part of like, well, I'm taking HRT now, might as well try to work on the hair. And in fact, because I was still almost certain that I would never get my hair back, I was already planning on getting laser to laser off the rest of my hair.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I said, no hair is better than some hairline. But I was like, I gave myself like a couple of years, see if there's I could do anything with my hair. And it just so happened that, there's some hope.
Yeah, that's actually a very fantastic, background that you gave. I think what I was trying to say earlier before I just like completely had like I just forgot. It's late for me, so but yeah, you touched on something like if you have these kind of thoughts in the background, I guess it's for a reason. Like if you have thoughts of trying to, I guess transition or something like that. I think people should really, adequately assess that first. Hair loss aside, right? Hair loss aside, whether you're going to grow your hair back or anything, because some men in the audience and, some people in general, they really want to get their hair back, but they end up doing things that aren't entirely rational. They don't really look into what they're trying to do. But then there's other people who are very sure or who are actually exploring things like, I guess, their gender when it comes to this particular topic. And so like, what would you say to somebody whose, I guess, hair loss has kind of brought these thoughts and surfaced it? What would you say to them? What's like some advice you would say to them before they consider something like hormone replacement therapy?
Oh boy. What would I say? Well, first of all, breast growth is kind of irreversible. After you get to a certain point, like, if you've got these, pardon my language, tiny titties, yeah, you can hide it, but it's not going to go away. And if you're okay with that, then that's another drop in the bucket. If you're concerned, talk to doctors. Like back when I was younger, I didn't even know what a trichologist was. I didn't know that I could talk to a specialist for hair. I didn't know how to even look for an endocrinologist who would help me with my transition. So in this day and age, we have a glut of information, and it's important to, yes, do your own research, but also because you can do your own research, you can find the people who know more than you and more than you ever will through just research.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, people need to, it's not only just about reading studies, but actually explore, again, if they're having those kind of thoughts. Hair loss is something that I've seen with multiple people. It kind of brings it to the surface. It's like, okay, like, yeah, you're having hair loss, but the most masculine trait anyone can experience, at least in, I guess I'm in the United States, so I guess I can only speak about how it is in the US. But it probably is something like hair loss. We associate, that whole, again, the grandpa look with the hair only in the parietal area, the occipital parietal area, the No.7 kind of deal. That is, again, very masculine kind of trait. And but that's not to say that hair. I think hair is just in and of itself also kind of a neutral thing too, like having a full head of hair. And also I really like what you brought up with the neutrality of just being slick bald. Like you even see some women like with just slick bald looks, and it doesn't really scream. Now that I think about it, it doesn't really scream like, oh, that's a masculine look. So that's a very interesting perspective. Very, very interesting.
I'm nodding. In case.
Oh yeah. I'm nodding too. So like, yeah, these things can't be seen. It's audio only, guys. So I guess now though, let's get into the particular stack that got you your hair back. I will say this: there's this set of doctor, not two sets. These doctors, I think it's they're from Australia or something. Dr. Vikram J. Aprakash and Dr. I forgot the other doctor's name. I'll probably dub it in. Yeah, you've seen them on YouTube. I think it's like Russell Nelson, something like that. They had this whole thing where they were like, as soon as somebody loses 50% of the hair shaft diameter, there's no way to get their hair back. Nothing that the person can do whatsoever.
But there is this thing called the 50% rule, which is if you are able to get a hair follicle at sort of 50% of its diameter of 50% or greater of its diameter from the original, then in the presence of things like finasteride or minoxidil, you may be able to bring this back up to its original density. You may be able to. But the arbitrary figure seems to be 50%, which happily is about 50 microns. If you look at the average the thickness of a hair is about 100 microns, and if you can get to that hair before it reaches 50 microns, then you have a chance of bringing it back to full thickness. Now the key here, again, where it gets complicated, is that not every hair is going through that same process simultaneously.
So far, all of the treatments that we have are better at increasing the shaft diameter or the quality of the hairs. They don't generally improve the numbers very much. So if you get a response, it's more about the shaft diameter thickening rather than the number of hairs growing. So what that means is once you get down to a very, very thin area, it's very hard to regrow the hair to any significant degree. So if we're going to do medical treatment, we like to get it early, while there's a lot of hairs there that might be a little bit miniaturized. That gives us a much better chance at growing hair. So procrastination is the enemy of outcomes here. The longer you wait to seek advice and start treatment, generally speaking, the less that we can achieve in the long term.
So just to repackage that, this is normal looking hair. So if we're getting to this point where we're getting early on in the miniaturization, there may be a possibility with the correct treatment and using it regularly in the correct manner that you may move shift the needle back that way. But if you present at this point, or if you're looking at this part of the scalp, there's very little that you can do to bring it back. The best you can hope for.
The only hairs that could possibly improve.
When I looked through the literature, nothing showed that at all.
Once they get down to this
and if anything, from what I've seen, people who have the M to F kind of route, and even people who don't necessarily identify themselves as trans, who maybe might be a bit more androgynous, or whatever their reason may be. Right? Everyone has a goal that they want to reach. We have to acknowledge that people have a goal that they want to reach, and let them reach that goal, as long as they're aware of what they're doing. I think just looking at the progress you made, it kind of just throws that whole theory, just throws it out into the garbage, because it's. I have to say, I was actually pretty shocked, but I'll just stop my yapping and take a yap inhibitor and let you explain your hair loss stack and what you did to make this amazing growth.
Okay, so the reason I said, asterisk on that was because I I've experienced a limit. Like a lot of what you see on the pictures that I've posted on Trestless that's just clever combing.
Okay.
There is still the hair, how do I describe that region? But just the front center region is definitely more sparse, and the individual hairs are thinner and shorter.
Okay.
In general, the ratio is like 0.6 to 1. So the hairs on my front and center are like, they grow more slowly than the rest of the hairs. So if I cut my hair, in general, I've been cutting the parietal area but leaving the front and center uncut when I go to a haircut, and it eventually, the parietal area ends up overtaking the rest.
Yeah.
So there is some truth. Sorry to contradict you, but there is some truth to
Oh, no worries. Yeah.
what they said. At least in my personal experience, there is a like the loss in diameter, etc., etc., etc. I was able to recover some of it from like near death. It was able to get back to a certain health level, but it's it can never, it doesn't seem like it's ever going to go back to 100, which is why I got a hair transplant.
Yeah.
So onto the stack. Besides the estrogen, when I started, it was just estrogen, and then estrogen plus spironolactone and some minoxidil, and then after that, I added finasteride. And then my doctor is like, hey, you want to try dutasteride? It seems to be doing well, and they do it in South Korea. There's some risk, but if you're not too concerned about using your dick, right? So I was like, wow, I didn't think it would be offered to me on a silver platter, right? Like, I read all these accounts of people like having to fight their doctor to get a dutasteride prescription. And in this case, my doctor was quite progressive and gave me that prescription, and we tested it for a while, and it seems like I was tolerating it well. I wasn't dealing with any kind of emotional problems, and things didn't actually stop working. So that worked out well for me. So my stack for a while was dutasteride, estradiol, and spironolactone, and minoxidil. And I eventually switched to monotherapy. In general, when your estrogen gets to a certain point, it starts, it makes it so that your body suppresses the production of testosterone on its own. There's a complicated mechanism that I will not talk about here, especially because I'm not a doctor, but let's just say there is, like, if you take enough estrogen, your testosterone goes down.
Yeah.
So I could stop taking Spiro. And before, like, now I am taking dutasteride every other day because I'm like, I actually have my problem now is my testosterone's too low.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I have to back off on my estrogen dose for a bit until my testosterone gets back into a healthy range.
Do you have to take any like sort of supplementary testosterone, exogenous testosterone, or is it just okay? Cool.
No, like I would have to if I had bottom surgery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and even then we wouldn't really know because sometimes the adrenal glands would produce enough testosterone.
Exactly. Yeah.
In the healthy range. But like for me, like why am I taking dutasteride every day? Because I don't have much T anymore for the 5-AR to convert to DHT. So I decided to just take it every other day. So that's my current stack. And after the hair transplant, my doctor put me on a 15% minoxidil solution. I'm
sorry, did you say 15?
Yes, 15.
Oh, wow.
Because reasons. No, it's just it's actually pretty common in Thailand. They have 15% minoxidil there. I've seen like at least 2 brands that have that. So it's like,
oh, is it like over the counter?
I'm not. Honestly, I think so. I can't say for sure because I haven't tried to get minoxidil in Thailand. After the transplant, like I'm not supposed to be on it for like the rest of my life, right? It's just there to help the hairs grow out faster, and after that, I will start backing off on the minoxidil. The doctor actually permitted me to mix it with the 5% in increasing quantities to dilute it to lower the percentage over a longer period of time, just to like make it more gradual.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's my stock now.
Yeah, that was really comprehensive. Thank you. Do you know how long? Do you remember how long you were on finasteride before you switched to dutasteride? Like, was it like a year or was it like a couple months?
I think it was maybe 4 to 6 months.
I see. So all in all, you've been. Oh, sorry. Continue. Yep, my bad.
I just remembered. No. I just remembered. I also tried exosomes.
Okay, tell me about that. How did you get in the settings to get exosomes? That's not really that common.
Same doctor who did who prescribed me dutasteride.
That's a really good doctor, by the way.
Yeah. She's also, it's a government hospital, so it's like I got it cheaper than most people could ever get.
What? Wow.
So yeah. So she's really aggressive with like figuring out how to help people with their hair. I tried it maybe four times, and the thing is, you can never really tell if a thing works.
Yeah, it's like
if you're taking a million other things.
Exactly.
So that's just an additional data point. I don't know how much it contributed to my hair recovery. So I mean, maybe in 100 years' time, we'll have enough data.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of studies on exosomes and its potential to reawaken dormant hair follicles. But yeah, the reason why I asked, like, how long have you been on finasteride, dutasteride, and maybe just in general, how long have you been doing HRT? It's because, like, I guess when it comes to the hair cycle, estrogen in general, it elongates the anagen phase. And I'm not sure maybe if you have experienced this yourself, but it changes, like, sometimes it changes the quality of the hair, like, it's just the hair structure, right? So for some people, the hair shafts may become wider, may have a different feel or consistency to it. But the reason why I bring this up is because you described something earlier with I guess you said the middle part of your scalp kind of grows slowly, not at the same rate as, I guess, the sides or parietal area. But I guess it grows just enough for you to kind of, style it up a bit in order to just, I guess, for lack of a better word, just styling it up. Yeah, I would have to kind of agree with you on that. I'll kind of have to walk back and agree with you on that because I've experienced that too. And I only had a hairline like thinning issue, but I had a shed and then the middle of my scalp kind of slowed down its growth. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. It came back, but there's a difference, right? It's like what would have been the No.7 parietal area that is growing uninhibited, as strong as it ever has in my life. And it's just the problem areas that, if I didn't take treatment, probably would have, progressed. But yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to get like a time frame, like the number of years you were on, say, HRT, and the number of you've stated with finasteride it was 6 months before you switched to dutasteride. I think I'm remembering that correctly. And now the number of years or months you've been on dutasteride. If you've already mentioned that, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get a clarification.
Dutasteride. So all of the times I'm giving you are like very rough because like I don't really keep track of those things. But I've probably been on dutasteride for, oh my God, almost a year, maybe 10 to 11 months. Okay. So yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, and as for HRT, more than 2 years.
Okay. Do you think the HRT would have done enough to bring back your hair if you were already like suppressing or I guess significantly increasing your estrogen ratio to your androgen profile? Do you think like you mentioned before, if you take an adequate enough of estrogen, it can suppress your body's native testosterone production to the point where it would kind of be like an equivalent, maybe a stronger version of a quote unquote dutasteride because you just don't have that much T to convert to DHT. Right. So do you think like estrogen was like the heavy hitter here?
It's hard to tell because I don't know how sensitive my follicles, the follicular cells are to DHT.
Good point. Yeah.
If they're super sensitive, then even a small amount of DHT would have effect. Which was kind of one of the concerns I had, which is why I was still taking the 5-AR inhibitors for even with negligible testosterone. And unfortunately, I didn't take I didn't measure my DHT levels before I started hormones, so I can't really know. fortunately.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's no worries in that. But I guess in this kind of next series of questions, how did people, I guess, react to the changes that you've gone through? You don't have to share too much, you can skip this question if you want to. But I just wanted to, ask.
Oh, sure. My friends almost universally have given me positive feedback. I look much younger, etc., etc. But of course, that's also an effect of estrogen. Also, they're my friends. They love me. They're not gonna be mean to me. My parents, their generation, my country, they're not quite ready for trans people.
Mhm.
But I'm already out to them, and after a bit of a struggle, we're at peace. I'm not like, I have not been disowned, so that's great. My dad has said, I don't like your face. I liked your face before. You have too much fat on your face now. I'm like, I wish I had more fat, but whatever. Dads will be dads.
But it sounds like he's accepting,
He's reluctantly accepting,
Yeah.
which I'll accept. Honestly, a lot of people were surprised. Like the acquaintances at the periphery of my social circles, those who weren't really aware of my trans status, if you could call it that. Like, it was a while before I came out publicly that I was transitioning. And before then, my hair was already growing, and people were like, "Huh, you're growing your hair back." And it was a lot of like surprise. At least one person asked me like what I was doing for my hair. Of course, I couldn't give them the whole picture. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay, yeah, it seems overall you had like a pretty positive experience, that people have been pretty accepting in your life with your decision. And I've talked to other people who have gone through this, and it's never an easy thing. Some people, they'll probably show their true colors after you go through something like this. You'll see who really is your friend and who really, I guess, cares to see how you express yourself. But looking forward, you got a hair transplant, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
How's that going, and what was the motivation for that?
I think I was just tired of being worried about gusts of wind. I was tired of, right? Like, when you've got a problem area, you want to cover it with hair, and if your hair doesn't curl in the right way, or it just doesn't fall the right way, it's you kind of see that bit of skin shining through.
Yeah.
And that's like, that's really tough, especially when you're going out in girl mode. Not that you'd know. Well, I wouldn't know if you wouldn't know, but
hey, I don't know that.
But like, yeah, I could wear wigs, but wigs are super uncomfortable, and I was in an awkward stage where, if conditions were perfect, I just looked like a girl with a pixie cut. So I could go out, in girl mode, but I would always be stressed. Like, would people see my hairline? Would there be a gust of wind that would ruin my hair? Etc., etc. What happens if it rains? So, and like, I knew that the frontotemporal region, like, it's not gonna, like, no amount of, like, if it hasn't grown out 2 years into my transition, it's not gonna grow out. So so I needed to, so I just decided, yeah, I'll just get a hair transplant to fix that hairline. I initially tried to get the hair transplant from I might as well say her name, Dr. Kinyo. with a Q. Dr. Quinoz, the one who prescribed me dutasteride and the exosomes, etc. Great
Mhm.
doctor. But because of scheduling difficulties for the hair transplant, because she also does hair transplants. She trained in Thailand. Because of the scheduling difficulties, I looked for other options, and I found Dr. Frank Manzanares, who did hair transplants in the States since 1990s, something like that.
Oh wow, that's a long time.
Back then, like he was there from the beginning, like the weird hair plugs, FUT, then FUE.
Hmm.
Oh man, I wish I could tell you some things about people he has worked on, but I cannot.
Oh wow! Wait! You can't just bring that up. I'm not telling you to go into it, but like, is it like bad or good? Like,
Interesting.
would you care to go into it, or you can just go on to what else you were saying?
Uh, I'll give you like um. Oh man, I don't want to get him into trouble. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Well, moving right along.
Yeah. Um, and then he moved back to the Philippines, and he's been practicing for 15 years. And worked on a bunch of people who cannot be named. Also, got their hairlines and all that. So I was like, okay, you seem like you know what you're doing. So that's why I went with him. Also, oh my god, he doesn't have a receptionist.
Wow, so he's like he runs it all. Wow.
He runs it all. Like when I messaged his Instagram, like the Instagram account of his clinic, it was him that was replying to me. So like it's like that's a good sign for me. Like
Yeah, very interactive, very, yeah, that's actually a really good positive sign. Wow.
Yeah, super friendly guy. Like when we were like it was like I was at a dentist's appointment, we were just chatting when like while he was working on my head. Guy's super chatty but not in an annoying way. Like he's got really good bedside manner.
Wow, that's mhm.
Like I can't really say how successful it is, right? Like it takes a few months before before you can see if it grows. So I just have to wait.
Mhm.
I'm on month 1. And I can say though that the aftercare instructions were very clear. He gave me like a bunch of like almost like a manual for like what to do. Okay, and then like okay, if a graft has come out, put it inside such and such. Sorry, I didn't read that part properly.
No worries.
Put it inside probably an ice, like some ice or whatever, and then bring it to me. I mean to him in the clinic, and he will transplant as soon as possible.
Wow.
He's
Just to cut in, I haven't even heard any other hair transplant doctor say something like that, because it's usually graft comes out, just deal with it. But that's actually wow. Okay, that's that's comforting.
Yeah.
If I ever heard something like that, I'd be comforted.
yeah. And I mean his name's on it, like on the clinic. So he's not hiding behind any organization, etc. He's on the hook. So he's really like I got good vibes from him. Yeah.
looking at your photos before the transplant, um, you said that's like styling and stuff, but I mean, when I'm looking at it, it's just it looks like just the quality of hair doesn't look too bad in the midsection. I mean, again, it's one thing in a photo, right? I'm not actually there, so I can't, sit there with a microscope and, measure the anagen length and, different diameter. But it does look like you have a lot of coverage, though. Especially when you're moving the hairline to show, sorry, the hair back to show the hairline. Yeah, it looks like you have quite a bit of coverage. But again, I'm not sure. Maybe you had a haircut on the sides or something, but no, like it's hard to try to get that density back again. I guess the number of hair follicles to come back again in the midsection, but you got just enough to reduce the, I guess, the scalp show and to style it up enough. So yeah, but I can see why you wanted the transplant. How many grafts did you go for? I don't think I asked.
I oh boy, I went for 2,700.
Okay.
But before I continue, regarding the scalp, etc., and the coverage,
Mm-hmm.
the hair's dry here. The moment it gets wet, you really see it.
Yeah, that's true. Wet hair shows everything. Yeah.
And like, I'm not too fond of the beach, but I'd like to be able to go to the beach one day, as myself. So I would not want to be stressed about the hair, getting it wet, especially at the beach. And as you can see, like when I pull my hair back, the frontal part is almost entirely. They're not exactly baby hairs, right? They're like maybe either enlarged baby hairs or miniaturized terminal hairs.
Yeah, they're like intermediate hairs, Yeah. That it's just in between what the original terminal anagen length was for an unaffected DHT hair and a hair that's truly, I guess, as they say, cooked. Just not growing at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what was I gonna say before? What was your original question? I'm sorry.
No worries. Yeah, I just said how many grafts did you have? Yeah.
So I went for 2,700, and after the transplant, I was like, so we agreed, like, okay, I know that it's probably gonna be variable, because it's an art, and you may decide that, all right, we need more grafts for a certain area. So, but for sure, there's going to be a minimum. So, okay, he charged. So we agreed, okay, we would go for 2,700, and then, I'll just pay you the balance after. Like, if you decide to get more grafts, then I'd pay you the balance.
Yeah,
like,
the balance of it. Yeah.
And then after the procedure, I was like, all right, doc. So how many grafts was it? Oh, 3,000.
Oh wow.
And I was like, what? 3,000? And he was like, yeah. I know that, like, it's like that's gonna be too much. I know, like, that's gonna be too huge a difference.
Mm-hmm.
For like you can't really, how should we say it? There's a difference between 2,700 to 2,800 versus 2,700 to 3,000, right? There's like
especially when each hair can possibly produce like 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 or maybe 5 hairs. I think each hair follicle is what I meant to say. So yeah,
more. I was thinking more along the lines of like price.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
So, and then my doctor was like, yeah, but I'm only guessing here, okay? I'm guessing that he doesn't want to charge me for that huge of a difference, but he cannot also charge for part of it. Because that the math around that is kind of weird. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna charge you. So he just gave me 300 grafts for free.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's how you know the surgeon is really into the craft. Yeah, that's like
I think it's fun for him.
yeah, that's really interesting. So, what was the goal of the hair transplant? Was it just to reestablish a new kind of hairline, maybe make parts of the scalp more dense?
Both.
Okay.
So the hairline in general, the temporal area, etc. Like he advanced the hairline a little bit more than I expected, and I think that's where the 300 came from. He also thickened the crown a little bit.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. But yeah, that's I'm looking at the photos. Really cool. Yeah. So for the crown, I'm assuming he went like in between the existing hair to there.
Yes.
How was that? Like, because you didn't have to do a complete shave. Because a lot of people, I guess, they're not really aware that you don't have to completely, depending on like what you're trying to do, right? You don't have to completely shave your head. Like, you can still leave some hair on there, so you can, like the way you went about getting the pigtails. Yeah, a lot of people just say they just want to shave it off completely, but it looks like there are more options than just shaving it off completely. Yeah.
Well, he was the one who shaved it.
Oh wow.
He gave me a haircut too.
So he's a barber as well as a hair transplant surgeon. Wow, that's
I was shocked. He turns out lunch and dinner was part of the package.
What?
So yeah, so he was like, "All right, what do you want for lunch?" And then I was like, "What? Yeah, what do you want for lunch? I'm ordering, and it's free."
Oh wow, this is like an angel story.
Yeah, and so we had a lunch break, and I ate the same thing he did, and his technicians did. That was really fun.
Yeah, you'll never see this treatment in the United States. I'm just going to be real with everyone listening. Like that's yeah. That's definitely amazing that he was able to provide such an excellent service and just be very cheerful with you. You just feel safe and comfortable in a setting like that. Because me personally, I have I think it's called the white coat syndrome. Maybe I'm mismistaking it, but growing up, I never had a good just relation with doctors. You get into the doctor's office, you think you're about to get a shot, your blood pressure goes up, and I still have that today. It's like, oh, I'm in the doctor's office, but no, like it's very comforting to hear that, because I've heard stories. Even some transplant surgeons are just they don't really care to even hear any sort of feedback that you may give them, or insights or whatever. But it's very comforting to hear that. Like, honestly.
Yeah. I was in the middle of answering your question and I forgot what the question.
Oh, I'm so sorry for cutting in. I have man, I'm so sorry.
I digressed. So
it was let me try to think. What we were talking about before. The haircut. Yeah, the haircut. Yeah, there we go.
So he gave me so he when we were first discussing a hair transplant. He said so. He also had a lot of experience with other trans women. And in general, the standard thing he does for trans women is he does FUT. Because with FUT, he doesn't need to shave the head. He just, and like it kind of makes sense, right? Like,
Yeah, it does.
he just takes a strip, and it doesn't even matter if the strip is, if the linear scar is there because it's covered with hair.
Yeah.
But apparently my scalp is too tight. And
Oh, really? How did he test for that? Sorry for cutting in, but how did he check for that?
He massaged my head. Like, he was like, yes, that is a tight scalp. And,
I see.
If he had done the FUT, my scalp would try to like pry itself open.
Oh yeah.
And
Doesn't sound too good.
It sounds like body horror, really. So the scar would get bigger, and yeah, you wouldn't. And then if he had tried to keep it closed, then the suture would be too tight. So he decided, like, yeah, FUE would be the best for you, but that would mean we have to shave the donor area. And so that's what he did. Like, he shaved so he didn't need to shave the recipient area. And that's why I have a kind of a presentable undercut. Honestly, it harkens back to my mohawk, which is kind of a nice symmetry there. And he, so he shaved, and he made sure, like he said, don't worry, I'm not gonna make it look funky or anything. So he took care to make it a neat cut, and yeah, the rest is history.
So for everyone listening, if your hair transplant surgeon isn't also a barber, I think you gotta walk out. But yeah, like, so what are you looking forward to after this? Like, what is the, cause like this is honestly, this is like a feel good story for me. I feel like really positive just hearing about everything you just described. Like you've made a lot of improvement. Like you went about your goals, and to me, I think, you reached it. So it's honestly inspiring, right? Like, so I guess what's next? Like, what's the goal with the hair? Like, what hairstyles are you looking to get after this when everything grows out?
Oh man, I don't know. I kind of want to try. I mean, I'll have to see, right? I inevitably, of course, like, I have to go through the pixie cut, like the real pixie cut.
Yeah.
It's like it will have to go through that stage. And then I'm just looking forward to having a completely unremarkable appearance.
Okay.
Yeah, like every Sally you meet on the road, whatever, like just the most average hair possible. Although I cannot promise I wouldn't try something crazy when I get tired of being normal. Of course, as I tried to practice stoicism, and so part of that is like the healthy kind, not the toxic masculinity.
Yeah,
stoicism.
the TikTok edit of the gym bro just brooding and staring into the mirror or whatever. Yeah, that's that's just whatever.
Yeah, so for me, like, stoicism means, all right, let's imagine if the hair transplant fails, because there's still no guarantee. Let's say the hairline does not come back as I want it to. The remaining hairs I have, honestly, this cut is pretty nice. And if all else fails, I'll just maintain it this way. Like, I just look like a lesbian. which I am. So I'd end up looking like I guess a butch.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I'm okay with that. Like, so if things don't go well, it's not the end of the world for me. But I hope it's gonna go well, of course.
I think things will go well. Right. I think the hair transplant surgeon you went to, you were in good hands. Right. And just looking at I know it's probably a bit too early, but it looks like the grafts took place. It's relatively anchored. You can usually tell, like, although that hair is going to kind of like fall out, maybe in like it probably already has since you posted the picture.
He plucked it.
Oh wow, okay, but it looks good. He plucked it. Wow.
Yeah, so he had me come back for a follow-up visit, and he was like, "All right, looking good. Time to pluck the hairs out." This was not a surprise. He told me from the get-go that he would pluck out those hairs, because if he doesn't, they have a tendency to get kind of stuck and they can turn into pimples.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, no, I understand. Wow. Okay, this is a good hair transplant surgeon. Yeah, that makes sense. You can get some sort of like folliculitis or something like that.
Yeah. But there's still a chance I will get. In fact, it's likely I'll still get pimples even if he plucks.
Mm-hmm.
And the pimples are a good sign, because that means it's growing.
Yeah.
So, and true enough, I have a few pimples on my hairline, and it's kind of annoying. And I do feel some of the I feel the hair, like some tiny hairs growing. So that's
good
sign.
Encouraging. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mm-hmm.
So it did, in a manner of speaking, fall off.
And it's going to grow back. It's going to be amazing. I'm telling you, because I've seen so many transplants, but yours looked like it went very well.
Thank you for your optimism.
Yeah.
I'm trying to manage my expectations, but I will, of course, I will be updating the thread.
Yeah, I mean, no, rejoice. Like, you've. When I see this, I'm like, wow, you did it. Like, this is I'm always happy to see people like go when they have a set goal, right, and they reach it. It's just like, okay, that's nice to see. Like, anyone out there who has a goal and they want to, especially when it comes to stuff like how you want to express yourself, right? Expressing your body. And, I think having that sort of autonomy is very important. It's very important. And, it's just a beautiful thing to see.
I guess. Hey, thank you. Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah. I guess that's pretty much it for the interview. Are there any like final remarks? Any sort of hobbies? I didn't ask. Wow, I should ask. Any sort of hobbies? Like what hobbies do you have?
I used to be an avid cyclist. I still like getting on my bike, but I've been taking it easy, especially because of the lack of testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get back on that when I get back to normal. I also like indoor rock climbing, painting, video games.
Which video games? Do you play League of Legends by any chance?
I used to.
That was the correct answer. There we go. Yeah. League is so toxic.
Yeah. Now I play another toxic game.
Overwatch. Overwatch? Yeah. It's a lot of rage moments in Overwatch, The
current balance is weird. What else? Actually, what hobbies do you have?
Oh, so now you're putting me on the spot. Listen, I'm not the one that's being interviewed, you know. What hobbies do I have? Huh? I make music.
Oh,
In Ableton, I've do this thing where I pick up it. What's Ableton? You said
yeah. What's Ableton?
it's a digital audio workstation, so you can make beats, you can compose music. If you have a MIDI keyboard, you can connect it to your computer and just start, playing, piano or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've been doing that since like 2016. I do this thing where I practice the acoustic guitar like for 15 minutes a day. And I've been doing that consistently for about a year, and it's it's actually pretty interesting. But you kind of pick up the muscle memory over time, and you don't even overwhelm yourself that much. I read here and there. It's not it's scientific studies. Occasionally, I read other things for entertainment and articles. I mean, I haven't done this as a hobby for a while, and I want to get back to doing it. But I was really, especially during university, really, really into just programming and making new projects. But because of work, it's, work has kind of taken that away as a hobby, and you just have to deal with the stresses of work. But I want to get back into doing that again. Yeah.
I see your status saying playing Visual Studio Code.
Yeah. That's, I actually, so because sometimes it's a cool game, right? It's really cool when you get all the packages you need to start working. I sometimes use like MP4 converters, because on OBS, when you're like recording things, you can remix it to MP4. But I actually want the audio, right? And I don't want to open up my Sony Vegas to just re-render the audio or whatever. So yeah. So there's this. Let me look through it real quick. There's this one package called MoviePy Editor, and I just made like a simple Python script to just convert the MP4 locally into like a WAV file, rather than using some online converter, right? Where I'm just sitting there, and they limit the size of the clip or file that you put in. I can just do it locally and just click a button, and then it's pretty much done. So that's actually why I have it open. And
that's really impressive.
Yeah. Oh no, it's whatever. It's just a couple lines, and then I do it. But it's helpful. But I want to get back into just doing more projects, to be honest. Yeah.
Ah, so nice to hear that you have hobbies.
I think don't you have any more hobbies than what you've already stated?
Well, I'm also a programmer, so
okay.
I do stuff also, like other than programming for work. I do some programming for fun.
Can I guess like what it is though? Like, are you like full stack?
Well, I'm full stack-ish.
So many people are full stack in like the hair loss community and like the self-improvement community, from what I've seen. I don't know what it is, because I do like DevOps, cloud infrastructure. Yeah. So like I do a lot of stuff with Terraform, Ansible. AWS is the cloud provider that I mostly use, but I'm trying to learn use Google Cloud Provider. Yes. But and then at work now they're trying to make me learn Angular. It's just
Learn?
yeah, I don't want to, but I have to, because I have no choice. But no, continue. Like, yeah, what do you like? Full stack or full stack-ish? Explain.
Yeah, I work on a lot of things, like Flutter. That's the current project I'm working on now.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do a lot of Clojure script. I'm a fan of Lisps. Lots of front end stuff, but also I've written some back end code, written some CLIs.
Mm-hmm.
but I stay away from DevOps. DevOps
Yeah.
is too scary.
There's so many things that, I say I'm in DevOps, but there's just so many things, depending on the organization you work with, you have to be responsible for just a lot. Like, so many tools and
Kubernetes,
yeah.
you make a mistake, you're slapped with a $10,000 bill.
I found that out the hard way. I don't want to get too much into it, but I found that out the hard way. Yeah. And it was pretty hefty, but it's gone now. I don't have to deal with that. But listen, if you hire someone, you should train them and not just throw responsibilities at them. Maybe check on them, once in a while. But yeah, I found that out the hard way. Yeah.
Oh my God. I'll keep that in mind.
But yeah, like DevOps, there's just so many things you have to be responsible for. So many things you have to learn depending on how complex your organizational structure is. I just my go-to for whatever, if it's like cloud provisioning, just Terraform. If it's like for server configuration, Ansible. I'm not even gonna mess with like Chef or Puppet, Jenkins or whatever. I just try to keep, if I'm doing something personal as a project, try to keep it simple when it comes to just cloud infrastructure and server configuration. So, kind of like hair loss stacks, find what works for you and use it, I guess. Yeah.
You should start another kind of a sister blog, a sister podcast.
What would you recommend? Also, a DevOps podcast? That would be that'd be interesting. I think there would be a lot of rage moments and debates. That would be cool. Yeah, and the horror stories would be very entertaining. Just so many things happen at work. I can't even just get into it, but it's like,
Just make sure you don't violate NDA.
Yeah, I'll halt on that. But yeah, just things get deleted, and hey, come here. Someone did something, so it's like, okay, yeah.
I'm not even surprised to find a fellow, I guess, IT worker.
Yeah,
it's a very tech thing to read up on the literature and try to take control over your biological processes.
Yeah, like you're maybe it sounds corny, but you're like programming your body or trying to like influence it in some sort of way, analyzing it as a system as it is. But also if you have to read like tons of documentation already, honestly, my biggest pet peeve is just poor documentation. Like, I think some people, because like they do things for a while, it just kind of becomes procedural, where when they start to explain it, they don't realize sometimes you have to, be very, very granular in your explanation. You have to, really explain the steps, right? And sometimes I've come across some documentation. It's like, yeah, thank you for gaslighting me for much of this process, but it's not exactly the way you described it.
And the versions, like things just when you're using multiple things that kind of connect to each other, and then like one has a breaking change, bam, everything falls apart.
Exactly. Yeah, I had that issue at work when I was trying to use Selenium. And the WebDriver, it just wasn't working.
That's the browser testing thing, right?
Yeah, it's like for browser automation.
UI,
Yep. So it just wasn't working, and I was like, "What's going on?" And the guy's like, "Oh, just look at the documentation." I realized, like, yeah, this is like a very, very, very early version of Selenium that you guys have docs on. And this is the first time I'm using it, so I'm like, "All right, let's check Google." Oh wait, you guys have blocked Google in the office. Wow. So what do I do?
Why?
I don't know. I'm not going to get too much into it, but the company is like very, very anxious, I guess you can say, when it comes to these kind of things. So it's like, as soon as you get in there, you can barely use your phone because the service is just, whether it's intentional or whatever, but it's just, you just can't do anything.
That's the first I've ever heard of any company blocking Google.
Yeah, it's like, why be that? You get like this kind of in-house like Google type thing, but it's really not Google. It's kind of like a Bing type. It's not really Bing either. It's like I think it's just you have access to a SharePoint, and you just have to like go through that document. Whatever you have to just search through that. Whatever I guess whatever keywords you put in your search would just somehow pop up some documentation that was written maybe 10 years ago or something like that. It's not good, right? It's not good to have that sort of I don't know how to describe it, like a rigid system. It hasn't stood the test of time, so it's
Right.
you just can't. It just doesn't adapt properly, and then it causes other issues. We like having a lot of tech debt in the code base, so it slows things down. But hey, that's the boss's job. You figure it out, Mr. Boss Man. It's your company, and I'm just here.
Oh man, I would hate. That sounds like a place I would not want to work in.
You see, everyone says that, and they tell me, "Hey, you got to get out of there." And I'm just like, "Yeah, the market isn't exactly doing well right now." But,
Oh right.
but still, like, I'm someone that likes to think like, you can learn things even in a situation like that. Like, I still have learned some stuff that I don't think I would have like learned had I not been in that environment. And honestly, I don't think I would like to have the experience any other way. Maybe I'm kind of done with the experience now, but I'm happy I've gone through it. And I'm just looking to a different industry now, and I'm still going to be programming, but I'm just putting my sights on something that I think will be bigger. Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. No, I guess. What? That being said,
No,
yeah. What were we gonna say?
no, I thought you were asking me what I was seeing, and I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's always that. You get that awkward silence. Like, kind of. I think we had that in the beginning or something. I'm not entirely sure. Where you said like you were nodding. Like no one can
Yeah,
tell.
yeah.
It's audio, guys. Maybe if I put like a smiling emoji or a nodding emoji. When I do like these sort of like voiceovers for like videos or podcasts, I always like to include like in the captions like what's going on, right? In case if someone's they can't hear it, so they can only see it, or if someone's like walking with their phone in their pocket and I'm describing like, oh, look at this scale. So I don't really want to take out my phone. I've had that issue too. So it's like, oh, if you can't direct your attention to the screen right now, I'll just describe it to you anyway. So it's like, I try to be considerate when it comes to that. But with that being said, I really want to thank you for just doing this, this interview. I think it went really, really well, and definitely your experience. It's like a template for anyone who may have a similar background, right? And I think there's a lot to be, learned from the situation that you have described, what you went through. But also, like, I think you're going to have like amazing results. Like this is pretty cool. Like, the transplant, just it looks nice. That's all I gotta say. It looks nice. Yeah.
Thank you. It was a really fun interview. You have a talent, I guess. And also thank you for being so respectful. You've made it quite a safe space for me. And I really appreciate that. And lastly, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to, I guess, tell my story to help other members of the community.
Yeah. No problem at all. Oh, before I end it, what's your favorite color?
Yes.
I have to know.
Oh, my favorite color. It changes.
Okay.
It changes over time. Right now, I'm really into seafoam green.
Seafoam green. Okay. Okay. That's a unique one. And yeah, it's pretty unique. Now, I need two more favorite colors though. Your top three, so two more.
Jesus, yellow,
Okay.
mustard yellow,
Mustard yellow. Okay.
and I mean now I'm just gonna go RGB.
That's typically, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean yellow's not RGB, so I guess I'd go CMYK.
Oh, wow. Okay. Dang. All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I guess.
You really are front end.
Yeah, I guess. Magenta.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Well,
Green, mustard yellow, and magenta.
I'll put the reference on the screen for people who who are probably having trouble, trying to understand what that is. But yeah, I don't want to hold you up, but see ya. Hope to have you back someday.
See ya. Talk to you again someday.
Most definitely. So it would be good morning for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good morning.
Good night.
All right. Bye.
All right.